folks, and welcome back to another season of Friday Night Spotlight, brought to you by Jones Ford Buick GMC, your hometown dealer for more than 50 years. We're excited, we're anxious, we've been waiting for this for so long, but it's finally here, week one of the 2022 football season, and unfortunately, much like the AIA loves to do, just kind of put us in scramble mode. We are kicking off with very few games this time. Smaller schools are starting 2 weeks earlier, and unfortunately for us, two of our schools are also on a first week bye. So that just leaves a couple, including our game of the week, which is Santa Cruz hosting Gilbert Christian. David, you saw a lot of the Santa Cruz football team last year. Things are looking a bit different this year. What can you tell us about them?
Well, first of all, before I get anything, I'm so happy to be back here with you and just kind of talking football again. Yeah, we don't have a lot of games going on this week, but it's still games enough. Football is back in Pinal County, and I'm super excited. So let's get into it with Santa Cruz. You know, this team had a lot of senior talent that would kind of led them to their state championship in 2020, left over in 2021. But unfortunately, you know, injuries and COVID kind of messed things up a little bit. They went 5-5 last year under head coach James Fitzgerald, and now they're on their third coach in the same amount of years, with Thomas Cortez coming over as the new head coach. And you know, he has some experience as well. He's spent some time under Rashard Davis's campaign when he was coach there in 2020 and before. So these guys are going to look a little bit different. They're a little bit younger. They lost a lot of guys like Taz Gill and Ricardo Alanis, who are some big performers for them last year. But you know, this team, Santa Cruz always puts together a scrappy team that is going to, you know, try to win as much as they can. So I'm excited to see what is going to happen. And the question is for me, who are the guys that are going to, you know, step up for that senior talent that they did lose? And some guys that I have on my radar are Nathan Harris, who got a taste of the starting quarterback role as a freshman last year. He's going to take that full-on starting QB role as a sophomore. He's got a good body. He's strong. He's got a good arm on him. He's agile. He's able to escape the pocket well, so he's definitely going to be a playmaker for them. Same thing at the running back position. Santa Cruz is known for having great running backs in the past, and Jonathan Ramos is going to take over that position now. He was a freshman last year. He performed pretty well when a lot of the running backs were hurt or out for COVID, so he's going to be in there again. And then a guy I want to remember, for everyone to remember, is Max Rodriguez. He was the quarterback for them last year, but now he's kind of transitioning to more of a hybrid role. He's going to play some running back, he's going to play some wide receiver and tight end, and he's going to be big for them on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm looking for him to be a huge playmaker for them. And for their first game, it's a tough draw. You know, Gilbert Christian is a very strong team. They were in the playoffs last year, and they're going to be competitive again, as well as Santa Cruz. They lost some senior talent as well. So it's kind of a toss-up at the same time, but I think, you know, Gilbert Christian's experience as being a top team in 2A is going to prove them well here. So I'm going to take Gilbert Christian in this one. And for the Dust Devils, I just need to see what they're like. You know, like we said, it's a lot of new young talent before I can make a pick on them. So right now, it's Gilbert Christian, but I'll be happily surprised if I can see these young guys perform well.
So, as David mentioned, Gilbert Christian is kind of in a similar role as Santa Cruz in the fact that they lost a lot of playmakers from their team last year. They graduated their quarterback in Matthew Hershey and running back Eligio Ledesma. Both of these guys were big contributors for the Knights, but returning for them, you know, a bright side is on the defensive end. Josh Lay is a junior. He had 61 tackles last year, and Zach Homan, 6.5 sacks last week. So these two guys are returning for the Knights. They're going to put a lot of pressure on this young Santa Cruz backfield. And then just offensively, look for Sam Webb. He is just a sophomore, but this is going to be his time to shine. He's going to have to step up into that leadership position when it comes to running the ball for the Knights, but I expect him to do a really good job. Jumping over to our what to watch for the week, aside from our game of the week. David, what do you have your eye on?
Yeah, my first pick for this first week of Friday Night Spotlight is going to be the Coolidge game. You know, Coolidge is coming in. You know, they've always kind of been on the cusp of doing something great. You know, they've had put together good performances, and it just seems like not everything clicks for them every year in, year out. But I think this year could be different for them. They have a lot of guys coming back who are going to be able to be strong for them. They have a lot of size and a lot of athleticism on this team, so I expect them to do some great stuff here. And for me, it all starts with Gianni Mascalini. Marcelino. He is a transfer QB coming over this year for Coolidge. He is highly touted. He's one of those guys that you're going to look for, as he's one of the top talents at QB in the county right now, even though he hasn't even played one snap with Coolidge officially. And we might have to wait still. We don't really know for sure if he's going to be able to play that first game or if he might have to sit out a little bit due to the transfer. But either way, if he does play, he's going to have a huge impact. If he doesn't play, it might kind of hinder them a little bit. But when he's on the field, he can be electric for them, and I expect him to be a huge part of what Coolidge does all year. And, they're going up against a tough team in Sabino down in Tucson. Sabino has been a great team for a while. They've had some great performances in the past, and, this team is very strong and very capable of doing something great as well. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Coolidge. It's a tough first draw, and I'm going to have to pick Sabino just for the start because we're not still sure, again, if Marcelino will be able to make that impact in that first game. But if he does, expect him to do well with this young team. He's meshing well. Robert Shanks, the coach, has said great things about him, and he's ready to go. So I'm going to pick Sabino for now, but I would not be surprised if Coolidge can do something great here.
All right, and now my game to watch is Florence traveling up to Parker. Now, these two teams are in very similar positions. They lost, like many other teams, a lot of talent. They're both under a new head coach, but I think Parker has the upper hand here. They are in a new conference. They moved up. They made the jump up from 2A, but last year they had the undefeated season in 2A. Now, they did graduate 2 1,000-yard rushers in Anthony Taylor and Cameron Poole, but their incoming class, sophomore quarterback in Maddox Young, and then a returner in Thaddeus Nopa, a junior. I'm expecting these guys to carry the Bronx early on in the season. And for Florence, they are under now head coach Jesse Hart. Taking over at quarterback is sophomore Logan Stenson. He did see some time for the Gophers in this position last year. He had 33 pass attempts for 289 yards, a 55% completion rate. There we go. And, it's going to be interesting to see how these Gophers adjust. Much like Santa Cruz, new head coach. They had a different head coach last year after former head coach Scott Howard left, longtime coach for the Gophers, and just a third coach in a third season for the Gophers. They're making that long travel to Parker. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I do expect them to be much improved this season, but for this first game, I got to go with Parker. Real quickly, we're going to give you guys all of our picks for the week. And David, is there anything else you would like to add?
I want to reiterate how excited we are to have football back. And for those picks specifically, I'm laying down the gauntlet. I'm winning this year. I'm making my stake in this game here. I want to win, and I'm going to beat out Maria in the picks for every week. So watch out for those. I'm going to be ready. I'm bringing out all the stops this year.
Big talk for the second year guy. We'll see how this goes.